Do I feel good today? What's up, everybody? It is Super Bowl week. This is your sports and sports betting brand of record. We call it Driving the Line. We're here every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. A lot of housekeeping today before we actually get into the show. As always, if you are new, we always look backwards before we look forward. And last night, decent day at the brand, but I got to tell you, our silent assassin, Jacob, is low-key an absolute picks killer. Another 3-0 day, and it wasn't even close. 2 goals in the first half. 4-0 to win that game. Check mark, check mark, check mark. Me and Zaz each go 1-1, and the crew, well, Miami last night didn't even get to 40 points. They were averaging over 80 points. It's one of those days. That's why they play the game. All right, let's bring in my partner in crime. He's our 5-tool player, AB. AB, good morning. We got a lot to get to. First and foremost, what are the selections for the crew today?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. First off, I want to find the selections from Jacob for saving my ass for the show. I went 0-2 last night. It's a great job by him. All right, 4 options here. College basketball. We got North Carolina -7.5. Texas -2.5. Boys are playing on fire. Oklahoma -1.5. Same deal. And then Baylor -5.5. So 4 big blue blood teams getting ready before conference play. Options are in the chat. Vote in the poll, and we'll update it at the end of the show.
Most definitely. We have a couple of things that we launched that are live right now. If you do not have your Driving the Line merchandise, shout out to Chris Thomas. He posted last night on X that he received and looks really nice in the hashtag educate and entertain t-shirt. Our featured item of the week, it's us against the books, hashtag the crew. By the way, Zach, I know you're in the chat right now. Yours was shipped out yesterday. You should have it in the next week or so. I want a picture so we can put it up on the show. Now, for those of you who are crew members, and if you haven't signed up yet, boy, AB, they missed something last night, didn't they? Shout out to our man, Joe Ort. Let's roll a little video of what he did last night to win Shoot Your Shot. Now, Kansas State's up 23-21, about 7 minutes to go in the first half. The live line is Jayhawks -1.5. They're down 2 at -110. Come back the other way, +1.5. K-State is -120. Joe, what would you do? Go.
You have to jump on the Kansas line. In my opinion, Kansas State does not have a big man. Their tallest guy is 6'9". Hunter Dickinson is 7'3" as a center. They don't even really have a true center. I see no way of them being able to shut him down much longer. They are within striking distance. The line was 4.5 to begin with. It's a gift taking it at -1.5.
All right, so you got to be a crew member. You can sign up right now. Just go right to our YouTube page. There's a join button right there. AB, how much did you enjoy Shoot Your Shot last night?
Last night was awesome. And for anybody that's brand new, essentially what it is we reversed the roles. Coach and I took a step back. We had 5 members of the crew come in and essentially give their picks, break them down. You saw just a snippet there. But, yeah, it was awesome, man. It was so much fun. Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it, man. It's going to be a blast. And now he gets to come back and defend his title the next show, man. It's going to be great.
That's exactly right. That's the rule. So Joe wins last night. He gets to come back to defend his title. If he wins 3 shows in a row, he then graduates and gets to be right here on the big show on a weekday at 10 a.m. This could be the launching of his big career. You never know. By the way, AB, how about in the chat before we bring in the Z-Man? How about this is so nice. He says, man, with all the cappers and shows out here giving out BS plays, this place is a godsend. Carlton, yes. Speaking of godsend, we need to give a shout out. You saw in the screen right there, our man Mark, who was a part of the first show last night. AB, he's got not only his algorithm, but this is about family, right? This is about the universe. And we found out the relationship with his son and how they connect through sports betting. Pretty cool to have him on last night, too.
Man, unbelievable. I mean, first off, Mark has rolled with us for a long time, so he's always been part of the fam here. But, yeah, I mean, that's the whole point of all of this is building the community and building that family feel. And we're not BSing about that at all. So we got to know Mark. and his son, and the awesome stuff that his son has put together with an algorithm that those two have been, really perfecting over the last couple of years. Just fantastic, man. Like, that's the whole point of all of this, is that this truly is all of us together, man. It's great.
And it's only going to grow and get bigger. And we're going to try out that algorithm right here on the show at some point. We'll see how it works. If it wins, damn it, we're going to keep using it. So, Mark, shout out to you and to your son. All right, it's time to get into the show. It's time for the rundown. It's great to have the Z-Man back, Jonathan Zaslow, and shout out one more time, our man Howie Schwab still in the hospital today. But Z, you are more than an adequate fill-in for the legend. Good morning, sir.
Morning, guys. How you doing? I'm pumped up today because I got my local teams playing tonight. Heat, Panthers. I like waking up in the morning, and I got my teams to look forward to tonight. So I'm in a great mood to get the day started.
Well, we love having you as a part of the crew. He's here every single Monday, but I have a feeling it's going to be so much more than that. Love the Z-Man. Now, we're all about the Super Bowl today. Last night was media night or media day, whatever you want to call it, and all eyes were on Patrick Mahomes for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, we thought, gentlemen, that it was blasphemy to ever talk about Patrick Mahomes or any quarterback in the same vein or conversation as the great one, Tom Brady. But if he can win this week and get to number 3 at 28 years old, that conversation is real. Last night, Patrick Mahomes was asked about that.
Third ring, a lot of people are saying you're en route to surpassing Brady. You put any thought into that, being the greatest of all time?
I mean, I'm not even close to halfway, so I haven't put a lot of thought into it. I mean, your goal is to be the best player that you can be, and I know I'm blessed to be around a lot of great players around me. And so right now, it's doing whatever I can to beat a great 49ers team and try to get that third ring. And then if you ask me that question in like 15 years, and I'll see if I can get close to 7. But 7 seems like a long ways away still.
It does, AB, but let's start with you. This could be 3, and Tom Brady did most of his damage late 30s, early 40s. Is it too soon?
No, it's not too soon. Look, Tom Brady had 2 Hall of Fame careers, legitimately. All right. He came right out of the gate. In 4 years, he had 3 rings, and then we lost a couple Super Bowls there in the middle of his career, and then picked up some more. I mean, look, it's not blasphemous to say it, that Mahomes is a part of this if he wins this game, because the numbers are just so astronomically difficult just to win 2 Super Bowls, much less if he picks this one up here. It's just incredible. And let me say this too. Patrick Mahomes is an absolute professional. That was a professional answer. It feels like he's been in the league for 20 years. This is what, year 6, correct? And the last part, give the Chiefs credit, because remember, they had a playoff quarterback in Alex Smith, and they trusted their scouts. Not only went and drafted Patrick Mahomes, they traded up to do it. If that doesn't work, everyone in the front office and the coaching staff is fired. They put their stones on the table and loved Patrick Mahomes, and look how it played out.
And look how it played out is correct, because Z-Man, when you look at how they've done all of this the last 5 years, and he's only been a starter for 6 years, and all 6 to the AFC Championship, and they've got to these Super Bowls all different kinds of ways. They don't have a great offense this year because they have no wide receivers, but he's figured out a way, which to me speaks to his greatness, which to me puts him in that category already.
Yeah, I think you make a good point, AB, and I would actually add to it the separate Hall of Fame careers that Brady had. I think he had 3 Hall of Fame careers. He won the 3 early, and then in the middle of his career, he won 3 more while putting up huge offensive numbers at that point in his career, and then wins another one toward the end with Tampa Bay. I really think Brady had 3 Hall of Fame careers. But as far as Mahomes goes, I think we're looking at it, or maybe like he's being super professional about his answer, and he's being really humble, and he's not even close to halfway there. First of all, you're pretty close. You're a few days away from possibly winning number 3. You're pretty close to halfway, I would say. But I think we're judging it wrong if we're looking at he has to get to 7 in order to be considered the greatest. Like, We don't do that with Michael Jordan and Bill Russell. Michael Jordan wasn't even close to Bill, not even close to Bill Russell. And no one talks about Michael Jordan not being greater than Bill Russell. So I think you need to look at it with some context. I think Mahomes can have a really difficult time getting to 7 because Brady played till he's 45. And not only should we not expect Mahomes not to play till he's 45, but look at the money that Mahomes has earned at this point in his career compared to the money that Brady earned at this point in his career. The dollars are so much greater now in all of the major North American sports. Mahomes is not going to really, I don't see him trying to play till he's 45. You make so much money now. He's got multiple Super Bowl wins. I don't think we're going to judge those two based on number of Super Bowl wins. I don't think he's going to get 7. That's kind of crazy.
I think it's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. It's also different, too, when you're talking NBA. You get to play in a series, and normally the best team wins. But in a Super Bowl, so many things can go wrong, so many distractions on that day. And speaking of that, AB, last night, even though he answered all the questions, he did not want to speak about the distraction of his father, who just got a 3rd DUI. And if you believe the reports, he still will be allowed to travel to the Super Bowl. And the reports say he is still planning to come to the Super Bowl. Now, Patrick Mahomes says that's a family matter. We're going to keep it within the family. But you cannot tell me that that's not a little bit of a distraction this week.
It's not great. It's certainly nothing that, that you want there, especially with the issues that the Chiefs have had in regards to specifically that. Yeah, I mean, there's just no real great answer to it other than it's not what you want during the week, especially with your star quarterback. But I'll also say this. If there's anyone in the league that this kind of goes away, at least from the conversation, it's Patrick Mahomes, because nobody's really going to press him on it. The local media is not going to press him on it for sure. And then the national media, I mean, you have so much going on during the Super Bowl week that it'll be forgotten by tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's not great, but if there's any time for it to happen, it would be during this week where there's a million storylines going on.
So, Z-Man, let me ask you this, because from a betting perspective, when you have a distraction, sometimes you have a slow start, and it can be a trickle-down effect. Do you think there'll be any implications on, A, the sports books moving any numbers, or Mahomes and any particular props that maybe should be out of play because of this?
No, I think it's a non-factor as far as Mahomes in the game goes. I mean, and, if I could also mention about the father, it's such a dirtbag, selfish move. Number one, 3 DUIs, like 3. I mean, come on. And on top of it, if nothing else, the week of the Super Bowl where your son is front and center, and it's not like Pat Mahomes Sr. doesn't understand the stakes here. He was a professional athlete, all right? He knows what's going on. But the week of, how about we are on best possible behavior so we don't give our son a difficult time? And we don't embarrass the family because we're front and center. And he couldn't do either. So it's a dirtbag, selfish move by Pat Mahomes Sr. picking up a 3rd DUI. But as far as Pat Mahomes and him being distracted, let's not forget, he's had to deal with all this stuff with his brother the last few years. And it certainly doesn't seem to affect his play. Like, Pat Mahomes has no problem, apparently, blocking out misbehavior within his family. I think it's a non-factor.
As a Chiefs fan, I've been screaming about that for years. Patrick, get all of those people out of your life, like his brother who stands in that stupid suite. And now he has to stand behind Brittany, the wife, and Taylor Swift, and he's trying to get in their Instagram. And all of a sudden, you're not in those Instagrams anymore because you acted like an idiot. And the father now is acting like an idiot. Yes,
not to interrupt you, but I mean, you and Justin Jackson right there just nailed it. I think that's part of it. Look, it sounds like I'm kidding, but I'm kind of not. I don't think Patrick Mahomes wants to go home. I don't think he wants to go to family like Christmas dinner. The man is just in the facility because he's like, I got to deal with this with Pops. I got to deal with this with the family.
Brutal crew at home. Brutal.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I'm just going to live at the facility and we're just going to win titles. So, yeah.
I think you're right. He said last night, I watched more film than anybody. Well, maybe that's why. Because you're always at the facility. Maybe that's why. All right, final Super Bowl topic before we get into betting the board today is the fact that reports came out last night. Maybe it's the the Las Vegas factor, Z-Man. Maybe it's just that you got more betting in more states legally now. But they're expecting over $23 billion with a B to be bet on this Super Bowl. Now, how does the casual fan or the fan that only bets on the Super Bowl going to affect these betting lines when there's so much now being bet?
Oh, I think it affects it in a major way. I mean, it's started over the last couple of years, but for instance, here in Florida, we're still way behind the times when it comes to legalized gambling, but most states are on board at this point, and it's so easy where you're going to your family or your friend's Super Bowl party in whichever state you're in that has legalized sports betting now, and you pull up the app. And it's right there. You can make these wagers sitting on your couch in your underwear if you want. You're there. You're hanging out with your friends. Your friend says he's got the Chiefs next week because we don't bet against Patrick Mahomes anymore. We're not stupid. And you're like, wow, I'd like to get in on that action. How do I do that? They say, yeah, it's on your phone. You just pull up the app. Boom, right there. So I really think this is the first year that this is now going to be a normal thing. Obviously, the game being in Vegas, exacerbates the whole situation. But now it's so easily accessible for the regular everyday dude who's not even a huge sports fan, but wants to get in on the action, on the fun on Super Bowl Sunday. So, yeah, I think it makes a huge difference.
Do you know what's not fun, AB? Thinking about Zaz sitting on his couch in his underwear making.
I like to be comfortable.
That's not fun.
I like to be comfortable. I got a drink in my hand. I'm ready to go.
Hey, it's efficient. It's efficient. Now, two things on that really quickly, okay? Yes. Number one, that speaks to exactly what we said the first show last week when we knew the two Super Bowl teams, that the public is going to go crazy betting this game. So get them in early. Star player props are only going to go up, and do not wait until Sunday to place your bets, because yes, we're seeing an influx in money in Las Vegas, but the influx in apps all over the board, it's going to be crazy. So get them in early, have a plan. And number two, Zaz brought up an excellent point. Look, spent a lot of time in the state of Florida, and I understand that, it was legal for a day, and then, that there's some, some issues with the state and, the tribe commissions in regards to it, of getting that, fully legalized. Think about this. The states of Florida, Texas, and California have still yet to join as legal states. Right. Massive. Like, we haven't even begun to see the numbers influx. This industry is only going to rocket ship even higher.
I live in California. Zaz lives in Florida. And I can tell you out here, it got shot down so badly, it wasn't even close on the last vote. So I think California is going to be a long time in the future, because all of the tribes control the casinos out here, and much like in other states as well. So we'll see if they can come to an agreement, but that's not for this week. I do have two more plays to add to our incredible Super Bowl board. As AB says, you got to get them in when you feel like getting them in. And today I looked at BetMGM, and they have different kinds of bets. This is not an over-under. Travis Kelce last week had over 80 yards in the first half, and I believe that this week, right from the jump, just like last week, Mahomes is going to look for number 87 early and often to get off to a good start. So at minus 125, plus 35 yards, meaning over 35 yards in the first half. Then on the other side, I'm going with an under. The Chiefs defense and their defensive backfield is just too good. Just too good. Brandon Ayuk has not had great games in the playoffs, and I think they'll be able to shut him down because of how they play that really sticky man-to-man defense. So I'm going to add Brandon Ayuk under 61.5 receiving yards, minus 110. I'd love to get quickly 15, 20 seconds your thoughts on these two plays from both. Z, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think Travis Kelce over 35 yards in the first half. I love that. I could see Mahomes, Kelce trying to set the tone early on. He's obviously been looking for him a ton throughout this postseason, and especially in the conference championship game, 11 catches, 11 targets. I don't know there's going to be a ton of scoring early on in the game, But
I
I
agree.
could see him looking for his safety net, Travis Kelce, early on, and to try and open things up. And you know what? Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown. I mean, coach, come on. Like, let's go. He scores every single week. I love that. Come on.
But I had to put in a parlay because the number was just too high for an anytime touchdown. I couldn't play it straight. AB, your thoughts, sir?
I mean, Travis Kelce, how can you go wrong? I don't disagree. I don't disagree with either of the two, right? Kelce, everything that Zaz said, I don't need to repeat it. Brandon Ayuk, I like the play. I'm fascinated at what the 49ers look like in the first half because we've spoken about it. What are you going to play from behind again? You're going to do it against the Packers, and then you're just going to keep doing this, right? Like, I think that they're going to be aggressive, but I think Christian McCaffrey's the guy that they are aggressive with. So yeah, I'm fascinated with Ayuk, throughout the game there. But yeah, I mean, Kelce, how do you say no?
And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you guys know I have a bad habit of kind of letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak. And we had a lot of people before AB that were like, what about taking care of those of us who bet with certain sports books? So I believe in this month, by the end of this month, we will have a new sports book and we'll take it a step further. Do you believe that too?
I do believe that. First, and then second, I thought you were talking about we're getting a show cat. I thought we were getting a pet on the show.
No, we're not going to show cat. But we will have things happening after the Super Bowl. Can't wait for that. Everybody's going to come on board because this is where you want to be. Gentlemen, I got to call in our silent assassin.
Calling in the lefty?
We're calling in the lefty. Need you guys to take the bench just for a second. All right, it's time to bet the board. This man is an absolute savage. He is our silent assassin. He is our senior brand manager here at Driving the Line. He wears a lot of different hats. But I got to tell you, Jacob, you have been absolutely on fire. But you're not a man to brag on yourself. You just grind every single day. But you got to have a reaction to your recent run.
It's about putting in the work every day. You get to find these gems when you are in it and you are so deep in betting and soccer and all the teams that you just have a feel for it and you kind of know. And you said it perfectly yesterday, synergy. So
our man Justin Jackson said AS Roma didn't even get a chance to think about it before it hit. It was amazing whenever you put all those together and it comes out 4-0. I love it. All right. But we can't rest on what we did yesterday. It's all about today. So what do you got?
So today we are starting in the FA Cup. I am all over Coventry -1 and their team total over 1.5. They're taking on a Sheffield Wednesday team who has not won in 14 away games versus Coventry. Coventry unbeaten in 9 home games, and these two teams just played a draw before that. Sheffield Wednesday lost to Coventry. Sheffield has also lost their last 10 out of 12 away games overall and have not scored a goal in the last 2. Sheffield is more focused on the championship and not getting relegated, so they might make some changes here, and Coventry wants to win the FA Cup. So we have a strong Coventry team taking on a Sheffield Wednesday team that's probably going to have some lineup changes, so I'm all over Coventry here. And since the NHL is back, I have an NHL play for you. I am on the Florida Panthers tonight, -1. Florida 31-14-4 overall record, 14-7-2 at home, and a 26-12-2 as a favorite. Sergei Bobrovsky is in net. He's 23-15, including 12-5 versus teams that allow the opponent to win between 45 and 55% of their games. And they're taking on Sam Ersson, who has lost his last 5 games. So I'm all over Florida here to get the job done versus a struggling Philly team who is 0-5 straight up their last 5 games.
All right, I want to make sure that I heard that correctly. I think you said -1, but we had on the board to win in regulation. Which bet is it?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Yeah, win in regulation. If you can get -1, I guess you could take that too, but win in regulation is the play, official play. Yeah, sorry.
All right, plus 128. All right. What league is Coventry in? I believe that's an FA Cup game today, correct?
Yep. Tournament game.
All right, very, very good. All right, always ask. My man will be in the chat. He'll answer all your questions in real time. If you are a member of the crew, we have more information there as well. We want to give you as much as you can digest. All right, Jacob, you're doing a hell of a job for us, buddy. You're doing a hell of a job. I need you to go get in that chat. Make sure everybody hits that like button and keep it rolling. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's bring in the stars once again. And AB, I'm starting to get a little irritated because in the chat, our man Big Cheesy, who Z said, that's my guy. That's my
new guy.
Yeah, that's his new guy. Well, he's not my new guy because now he's bragging about the fact that I may have to walk out, drive to the mall, and buy a Niners jersey and wear it right here on Driving the Line if the Chiefs lose. So now the chat is riding with him, most of them, and the Z-Man is riding with him. How do I react to that?
Well, you react first off. It looks like he's interrupted your flow, so I would comment on that one first. Number two, if it happens and you do have to get a 49ers jersey, may I pick the player that it is?
You may. Do you have a player in mind already?
Oh, I do. It's going to be a gentleman known as Jawan Jennings, who's got that dog in him. That's exactly who it's going to be. And I tell you what, I'll even get an autograph for you.
Wow. An autographed Niners jersey. Well, then you're going to make Big Cheesy cry because he's going to be like, how come I can't have that jersey? I'll tell you what, Big Cheesy, I'll take it one step further. We'll get it signed. I'll wear it on the show, and then I'll mail it to you, and you can have it all to yourself if the Chiefs lose, which they will not. And when you get your Chiefs jersey and you got to go out and get 3 pictures with 3 people to prove you wore it in public, I don't want it. I want you to sit on it in your house and understand that I beat you in the biggest game that there is. All right, it's time to get to our board today. And if you know us like I think you know us, then having a losing day or splitting our games, that doesn't sit well with us at all. So, Z-Man, I'm coming to you first. Me and you are all over the NBA today. Where are we going?
Well, I'm glad, you and I yesterday, we split the games. We both picked the 2 same games. I'm glad I didn't go 0-2, all right? I don't want to lose straight up both games to you. We split those, but I'm back on the NBA train today. Tonight, you got a game where defense is going to be a rumor, all right? Bucks and Suns over 243.5. The Bucks are a terrible defensive team, and now they're kind of going through, a new defense with Doc Rivers. This Doc's 5th game as head coach in Milwaukee. They're 1-3 in those games. You make sense of him coaching the All-Star game. I can't make sense of it. So Bucks, they're not stopping anyone. And the Suns are rolling now. Like the Suns are starting to look like that team, especially on the offensive end. I mean, it was Bradley Beal's turn the other day to score over 40. So between those 3 guys, Beal, Booker, Durant, I don't think there's a lot of defense being played in this one. So over 243.5. And the Miami Heat, yes, it's obviously a pick that's very close to my heart, all right? The Heat are given 3.5 points tonight at home against Orlando. Orlando's really dropped off since their early run at the beginning of the season where they got noticed. It's an interstate rivalry, and the Heat have been playing much better basketball since the 7-game losing streak. You think I needed 8 losses in a row in my life? Get out of here. The Heat have been playing much better since then. I like the Heat today. Jimmy Butler has been a different player these last few games. He's realized that we're already 2/3 of the way through the season. I got to start trying, guys. So Heat -3. I like them covering those points tonight.
All right. I like it a lot. A lot of good analysis there. Remember, hashtag it pays to watch live. Now, we give you the picks the entire show. I know sometimes you got to drop in and drop out, but I tell you what, you make a habit of that. You got to listen to the information. Zaz, thank you very much. Now, Howie Schwab, who, as I've told you, is still in the hospital. He's not doing very well. But when you're dedicated to the cause, he throws in 3 picks today from the hospital, from his hospital bed before he watches Good Morning America. So he's got Kentucky -8.5, Houston -20.5, Ole Miss +4.5, all of those at -110. Those from Howie Schwab. And we don't even need an explanation. All right. So the Z-Man has gone. Our silent assassin has gone. The legend Howie Schwab has gone. AB, the chat is already loving your plays today. Explain yourself.
Last night, a new member of the audience reached out to me and it said, "What the hell is up with you?" And I wrote back, I wrote back and I said, well, that's a loaded question. I'm going to need a little more direction of what you're talking about. And he goes, every time that you bet, you either go 4-0 or 0-2 every time. And I said, it's been that way my entire life, right? It's just, it always works out that way. So tonight we are going to go right at it. Now, NBA threes parlay, our first one, our first AB3 here, plus 120. We're going to put these three together. If you don't know how to put together the static and same game parlay, go look at our page. I'll even link it after the show here of how to put that together. But we're going to play Jimmy Butler 1+3, Durant 1+3, Devin Booker 2+3s, and take a look at that parlay and our man Zaslow's picks. Are we on the same wavelength there? I believe so. Absolutely. Right. So we're going to play that threes parlay. Then we're going to go to college basketball, put together another AB3 here, plus 130. We're going to take North Carolina money line, Kentucky money line, and Ohio State money line. I don't want to mess around with those spreads, although I do like Howie's play on Kentucky minus 8.5 after Tennessee almost put up a yardstick on them in Lexington at home. Kentucky's going to want to get this thing going, and John Calipari is going to be aggressive in that game. So, yeah, two parlays. Let's get it.
I got to tell you, hanging out with you and the Z, man, I have learned that I can embrace unders and I can embrace parlays. Z, I used to break out in hives when either one of those two things were on the show, but now I've evolved. I've evolved as a man, and I'm here for it. Two different parlays. And I'm going to play them both. All right. We are down to mine. And I happen to, and I actually despise this because most betting shows do this, and ones that are like from 1995, they're very antiquated. That means old. But I happen to look up my straight picks since we relaunched. And you know, AB hates when I do this. I just hate old school betting. I just do. I just think it's evolved from that. But I am up $395 if you're a $100 better on all my straight picks since January 17th. So I know that's not a ton, but it's a plus, and we'll take that.
And we're putting it all on the line. No, I'm kidding.
You're damn right. $133 on these three plays. All right, my first play is going to be the Pacers minus 7.5, minus 110. The Rockets are just not the same team when they play away from home. Mr. Halliburton, who I absolutely love and who is a big WWE fan, he's back. And he came back in the last game after that hamstring injury. They won by 16 points. So the Pacers laying 7.5 tonight, minus 110. Love that. Then the Mavericks. And this one is contingent. I normally wouldn't tell you to do that. I would tell you to wait until the lineups come out. Why? Because Kyrie Irving came back last night. He scored 23, and the Mavericks blew out the Sixers, scoring 118 points in the process. So they're playing back-to-back nights, and I think the Mavericks on the money line, like AB, I didn't want to mess around with the points, but Kyrie and Luka, they played 35 and 36 minutes last night. And make sure they're both in the lineup in New Jersey, and they will beat the Nets. But they both need to be in the lineup. Thunder money line at minus 150. Hey, sometimes the juice is most definitely worth the squeeze, and the Thunder are just a better team. They are. I didn't want to mess around. When it's a road team, I'll lay the extra juice. In Utah, the Jazz can be dangerous, but the Thunder are 20 games over 500. Let's stop it already. That's a lock. Minus 150. Take the points out of it. All right, Z, before we let you get out of here, I posted a brand new, and reluctantly, we're going to do this here at Driving the Line because yesterday the response was incredible. Social media, incredible. And there has been so much mainstream attention on what's going on over at the WWE and what's going on with Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. What did you make last night? 30 seconds of what happened on Monday Night Raw.
I think everybody is going to get what they want. All right. I've never heard of the announcing team so gleeful and delighted with the anger, I guess, from the WWE Universe, from the crowd, where they kept bringing up hashtag we want Cody. Michael Cole kept bringing up how Cody Rhodes hasn't decided who he's fighting yet. Rock Roman Reigns is not even official yet. Tune in Thursday to the press conference from Vegas when it all becomes official. So if you're a WWE fan, I think you got to make sure you tune into that press conference on Thursday. I think it's all part of a bigger story. I think we're all going to get exactly what we want. And Cody Rhodes, if he wasn't over enough already, the last few days, holy crap, is he the biggest star in the company right now? I think that had a big to do with what WWE wanted, what their MO was in this spot, and it's worked. I think everyone getting all crazy about it, I'll continue to say, let the situation play out. I think it's all going to work out the way we want it to.
I sat in meetings for over 10 years with all of the head honchos, and on many occasions, we had one storyline going in one direction, and then the fans always dictate. Whether you believe it or not, they always dictate where the storyline's going to go. And I've seen it change right in front of me in that meeting room the day of a show. So Cody Rhodes last night tweeted out, "Trust me."
Yeah.
So we have to trust him. We have to. And by the way, for those of you out there, and it's nobody from our universe, but The Rock's daughter on TMZ said she's getting death threats over this story. Will you stop it already? This is a show. It's entertaining. Stop it already. It's ridiculous. Z-Man.
Coach, you're telling me that the honky tonk man, he's not going to get a push here. That's what you're saying?
Oh, greatest IC champion of all time. Come on.
All right, Z, we'll see you later, buddy. You're the best. Thanks, man.
All right, guys.
That is Jonathan Zaslow, the Z-Man, here on Driving the Line. And by the way, if you haven't checked out my very first What Do I Know article over on this YouTube page, check it out. It's my commentary on the Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Rock. We're going to have a lot more of that, huh, AB? A lot more commentary on that?
A lot more. Yep.
All right. Reluctantly, but when you've been there for 15 years almost, I think I have a pretty good perspective. All right, it's time for the closing bell. I like that music. What do we got, AB?
I do too. It makes me feel like we're going on a mission right after this show ends. So the crew has made a bold choice. North Carolina -7.5, over 50% of the votes going with the Tar Heels tonight, coming off that big win against Duke. Yep. Crew is feeling some North Carolina there.
Okay. Carolina. Interesting. They're kind of like, I don't know what team, the Chiefs and the NFL, teams that don't cover a lot. That's how I feel like the Tar Heels are. They're a top 5 team, but they don't cover a lot, at least in my mind. They could,
No. You're right. And you bring up a good point that, you look at college basketball, especially when you're deep into conference play, that 7.5 it's a bigger number than it feels. Now, I'm not saying I'm not being negative on the play. What I'm saying is, to your point, that they're always stuck in kind of no man's land, because if you have 7.5, like, you're basically a double-digit win. Pretty much, right? Like, you want to be up 12, 13 going down the stretch, feeling good about it. It's tough, man. Like, those numbers get big for sure.
No doubt about it. A lot of great comments in the chat today. Robert says Zaz is a great addition to the show. Our girl Rebecca, she loves Jennings. He's that guy. We got to get Rebecca on the show. We really do.
I'll tell you this. Jawan Jennings, you can go look. We scouted him. I known about this guy since he was in high school. All right. He played at a high school that I played against in high school. The dude is a beast. And if you go look it up, he was a 4-star recruit quarterback coming out of high school. The dude is unbelievably talented. He's one of those dudes, you just turn the lights on. He doesn't need gloves. He doesn't even need anything. Like, he's just going to go out there and get in a fight and just be physical, man. Jawan Jennings is that dude.
I really hope, even though I know you can get it signed, I really hope we don't have to do that. I really hope that we don't have to do that. Drew says, more wrestling talk is always great. Hit that like button. It really feels like, and we were talking about it last night, and I feel like we really need sometimes to stop and just say thank you, because this is only week number 4 of the relaunch and the rebrand. And last night, shoot your shot. If you're not a member of the crew yet, I encourage you to do so. So much more over there. But AB, I have honestly I thought we could get people to come with us, but the way they're doing it has blown me away.
Well, me too. It's been unbelievable, right? And we spoke about it, building these brands. We've done this for a long time, and it takes a lot of time to get yourself just situated and the audience kind of comfortable with what you're doing. The audience put us on their shoulders. Like the crew picked us up and said, fellas, don't worry. We got you. We're going to start this thing for you and we're going to get it rolling. And that's exactly what they did. So we always say it, best of the game, not even a question, but thank you and humility from both of us, 100%. You all are truly the best of the game.
And if you want to be a part of Shoot Your Shot, whether you are somebody that wants to do it professionally like Joe, or whether you just want to hang out with your son like Mark, Shoot Your Shot is for everybody. But you got to be a member of the crew. Also tomorrow, AB, we're going to add a little extra poll. We're going to let the chat vote on what the next featured merch item is going to be. I feel like it could be, do you want to do the work? Could be straight to the pay window. It's in the QR code right now if you want to get your Us Against the Books. But tomorrow, AB, we'll let the fans choose because we can make them like that. We can make them like that.
You know, and here's the dangerous part. You're about to get an email in about an hour. I've designed 5 new looks at these shirts. And I'm not going to give you away all of the phrases, but we've got a couple here that I really like. And really, the big one is going to be this. All right?
Okay.
You know, no pressure, no diamonds. That one's coming out. But fade yourself if it pays yourself. That's what is going to be as well.
Say that again.
Fade yourself if it pays yourself.
I like that one too. Oh, there's going to be so many. We're going to change the featured item probably every single Monday. We are going to change it every single Monday. You guys will be able to get whatever you want, rep the shirt. And there's going to be a time where having our merch is going to pay off for you as well. But we can't give it all away on one day. AB, solid show, big boy. Solid show. It is now time. Give me that one shot for you to go out there and pay it forward. For you to go out there and be kind to one another. If you're living out here on the West Coast and it's been raining for 2 days, be careful when you're out there on the roads and understand this. This is Super Bowl week. It's a special week. Do not drink and drive. And I don't say that to be a joke. Just don't do it. And start your day right here. Every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And do not forget later today at 3 p.m. Eastern time, me and the hashtag DTL Golf Boys will be live right here on our channel to break down the next event, the Waste Management Open, which is crazy. Over 500,000 fans in attendance in Phoenix. We break it all down today live. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe y'all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. Right, Tire Crew, Lobo, the Z-Man, my 5-tool player AB, the silent assassin, Jacob, and our entire production team behind the scenes making this show look like $1 million. I am the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about right here at Driving the Line. Good luck.